So now that we have our endpoint to upload a file or upload an image, we want to implement that in our product edit screen. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Axios because we want to use that to make our request. And then as part of the component state, I'm going to copy this last one down, set the default to false, and what this is going to be is uploading. So we're going to say set uploading and set this to uploading. So it's similar to what we've been doing in Redux, where we have loading and we set it to true before we make our request, and when our request is done, we set it back to false. So this is going to be set to false by default. And then let's go down to our fields, our form here, and where we have image, right now we just have this text where we can enter a custom URL. I want to keep that in case they want to use it, but right under the form control, let's add a form.file, which will give us a file field, and I'll give it an ID of image-file. Let's give it a label of choose file. We're going to add this custom prop, and then we're going to add an on change. And when we select a file, we're going to call upload file handler. Now right under, I'm going to save this just to format it. Now right under this form.file, we're going to check for that uploading that I just added to the state. If that's true, then we're going to show a loader. And again, you could add different loaders if you want. I'm just using the same one pretty much all around the site. So now we need to create that handler. So let's add right here above the submit handler, const upload file handler, and we want to make this asynchronous since we're making an HTTP request, and we're going to pass in E here so we can get access to the files. And I'm going to create a variable called file and set that to e.target.files. So what happens when we upload is we get access to this, which is an array, because you have the ability to upload multiple files. Now since we're only uploading a single file, it's going to be the first item in the array, so we want to pass in brackets and then 0. So that's the file. Now next we want to initialize a form data object. So we're going to set form data to new uppercase F form data, and you might have done this with vanilla JavaScript in the past, because that's what this is right here. It's just JavaScript. And then we'll take form data and we want to append to that, and we're going to call this image just like we did on the back end in the middleware where we passed in image, and then add the file. Okay, then I'm going to set uploading to true, which should make that spinner or that loader down below, and let's add a try catch where we're going to make our request. Now before I make the request, I'm going to create a config just like we've been doing in our actions with the headers, and we want to set the content type. And this is really important because when you upload an image, it has to have the content type of multipart dash form or slash, sorry, form dash data. Alright, so under the config, which ends here, let's make the request. We'll put the response data here, await axios.post, and the endpoint is /API/upload, and then we want to pass the form data as a second argument and the config as the third. Okay, once that's done, we're going to go ahead and set the image to the data that comes back. Remember, what we send back is the path, so that's going to get set as the image, that path. And then we want to also set uploading back to false. If there's an error, then I'm just going to console error whatever that error is, and of course set uploading back to false, so we're going to just have a never-ending spinner. Alright, so that should do it. Let's save. Let's make sure we have nothing weird going on, and let's try it out. So I'm actually going to just delete this here, the sample. Let's create new product, say test product, and I think we need to add account and stock for this to work. Now you could pass in just a regular, a custom URL, or we can now browse, and I'm going to choose Chrome logo, and you saw that little spinner and it made a request here. So if we look over here, right here, upload, and the response is the image, and that's also put in here. Okay, now let's just update, so this will save it to the database, including that as the image. And now let's go back to the front end here, and we have our test product with our image. Now I just want to try to upload something that's not an image. So if we create a product, if I choose, let's choose the CSS file here, you can see we didn't get anything back. Actually, let me just reload this and try that again. I just want to show you the response. So right here you can see that we get a 500 internal server error. So nothing actually got uploaded. If we look in the uploads folder, let's close that up and look in uploads, we just have the Chrome PNG. All right, the CSS file didn't get uploaded, so that's not going to work. All right, cool. So I'm just going to delete these sample products. And now we have the ability to upload product images. So now that the products is all set, what I want to do next is the orders. Okay, so we should be able to go to order list, see all the orders, also have a details button that'll take us to that order page. And from there, after we do that, we want to have a button on that page where we can mark it as delivered. So we'll start on that next.